As Nigeria approaches the 2027 elections, the role of youth in shaping the country's democratic future has become a pressing concern. Now, Senator Ireti Kingibe's recent comments about Nigerian youths being complacent, merely grumbling, complaining, and insulting on social media have sparked a national controversy. Now, with the future of democracy hanging in the balance, it's essential to explore the expectations as well as the responsibilities of Nigerian youths in defending the democracy of the nation. Beyond social media, that is, beyond activism online. This is for Fanua Africa. My name is Blessings Musugu, and this is a show where we spotlight the youths across the African continent, their challenges, their opportunities, and of course, prefer profound solutions to some of the challenges that they face. So stay with us for 1 hour of blissful conversations. Nigerian youths have become vocal on social media, or they have been, expressing their frustrations and demanding for change. However, there is a growing concern that this activism hasn't translated into tangible actions that can shape the country's democratic trajectory. Now, the question remains, who will defend democracy when the stakes are high and the system is tested? Let's bear in mind that democracy requires active participation from all stakeholders, including the youths. It's not enough to merely complain or grumble on social media or come up with 30-day challenge of activism and complain. Youths must be willing to engage in the democratic process, participate in elections, and hold leaders accountable. And this requires a shift from passive activism to active engagement. So very quickly, let's take a look at Senator Ireti Kingibe's thought before we come back to talk about it.
Nigerian youths, they are complacent, they are quiet, all they do is grumble. We need to have constructive interaction. Do you understand? All I hear is grumblings and insults. That's not helpful. Do you understand? You guys, the country belongs to the youth. They should own it. Instead of a proper, what's the word, program or agenda, they will threaten a strike that, of course, everybody knows they're not going to go on. How does that achieve anything? But as he said, Nigeria is a Mayday, Mayday. I agree. Advice is to Nigerian youth. My advice to Nigerian people. This is your country. Own it. You have another country. I don't have another country. So we have to make it work. We have to do whatever is necessary to reclaim our country, whatever is necessary to make sure that this country works for everybody.
All right, so joining us to discuss this very important conversation is a guest that we have, or we have two guests rather. We have joining us Maurice Ebam, who's a lawyer and human rights advocate in Lagos, Nigeria. We also have Fatiu Bashorun Ojora, councillorship aspirant, African Action Congress in Lagos as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us to discuss this.
Thank you very, very much. Happy weekend. Hi, good afternoon, and good afternoon, my co-guests too. My name is Maurice Brown. I'm based in Abuja. Right. Yes, sorry, I'm in Abuja. People are in Lagos, yes. All right. Well, Lagos have moved to Abuja now. Okay. Yes.
All right, thank you for joining us, Maurice, from Abuja, and we will be going straight to the conversation now. Thank you as well, Fatiu, for joining us. Now, let me start with Maurice. What role do you think that Nigerian youths need to play in defending democracy, especially looking ahead to the 2027 elections? Because now they have said it, and from the sort that you saw, Ireti Kingibe, I don't think that she meant that from a place of, from a wrong place, but it might have come off as wrong. But generally, what role do you think that the youth should play beyond social media activism?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I'm happy to be on Platform Africa and News Central. Thank you so much. So, I must say the truth. I must say the truth. I must speak my truth. And some people may not like what I will say, but it's just the truth. So ahead of 2027 election, I'm so sad to say Nigerian youth will not be playing much because the way things has gotten so docile. When I say things have gotten docile, some weeks ago we heard what happened in Nantes, how the Nantes announced the allegedly authentic Nantes president came out to say he was at the same Abuja I am. That they were also having a meeting that the Minister of Youth came with Sheyi Tinubu, and they came and beat him up with cutlasses as if it was the cultists. And then, but to my greatest dismay, some days ago I was going through again, and the same Nantes president that they beat, that they said did not want to collect 100 million naira. The same Nantes president said, I know he didn't say that. He was misinformed. And okay, well, you know the one I just said this, and I was even happy that at least people are bold enough to come out to say something. But ahead of 2027, they have put us in the armpits. I would say that we have a very, very proactive president's son, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son, the son every father want to have. So sadly, but he plays much politics. Sheyi has done so well in politics, and he breaks my heart. And it's not him doing well. He went and got the Minister of Youth, Ayo, Wisdom. Oh, those boys are playing typical politics with Nigerian youths. In fact, you know, it's so careful that if we are now coming out against them, what APC is doing is what they do in now. They put faction. So, for example, now, I always tell people in Nigeria, the best opposition leader Nigeria has ever had is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. From his days as the governor of Lagos State, how he fought his way, even before his days as governor of Lagos State, even from 1993 when he was an ally to the late MK Abiola. That man played politics. He had been planning for 33 years or so to be president of Nigeria. And coincidentally, his running mate, or the person that he was contesting SDP presidential candidate in 1993 election was Atiku Abubakar. So we can understand that this older generation, they did not start today, but the young people, we are interested to be PA. We are interested to be Yahoo boys. We are interested to be, they are not even thinking that there's a reason why we should cry. See someone like BDM now. All of a sudden, VDM has become a hero in Nigeria because the youth are not doing what they should do. In those days, someone made a scenario for us. In those days, for you to be initiated into manhood as a youth, they will send you to go into the forest to go maybe go and kill a lion or kill an elephant. But initiation into manhood was out of bravery. We are not even brave enough as Nigerians, talkers of the youth. It is so scary that we are like the days of bravery has finished. And I will not blame Nigerian youth. We saw what they did to us in 2020 during the NSAS. I can tell you, do you know there are some Nigerians that still say that 2020 massacre did not happen in Nigeria. I tell them it's not my business whether I believe it or not. But those are the martyrs of the new Nigeria. Nigerians prefer to start. We saw what happened in Kenya. How Kenyans came out en masse. They came out en masse. In Nigeria, especially in Abuja, I can see the streets of Abuja there. Very few men like Flag Boy, my friend and brother Flag Boy, who coincidentally happened to be his lawyer. Yes, there are very, very few men that are brave enough to actually want to speak. Okay, but the problem is hunger and poverty. Even those that are bold enough to say something, they are being scared. We don't know you don't have money. That's why everybody is running to the ruling party, because they want to get a national cake. But I always tell people that opposition is the
All right, Maurice, if you can hear me, I would like for us to also get Fatu's response to this, because I mean, you are making a lot of sense, and there are spot-on reactions. I would like to find out from Fatu how he also thinks that youths can move beyond social media activism and take concrete action. Maurice, you made a very valid point about youths being scared of coming out. I want to also find out from Fatu if he shares the same opinion as you do. Fatu, what do you think? How do you think that youth can move beyond social media activism and take concrete actions to shape the democratic process?
All right, lessons. Thank you very much. And Maurice, thank you for your submission. So, but before I forge ahead, I would like to draw our attention to Senator Ireti's take and Senator Ireti's submission. To be candid, I'm not surprised. I mean, this is a 71-year-old who has been a member of over 5 political parties in the last 3 decades. So she spoke the mind of the Nigerian political elites. Because if you ask me, what has Senator Ireti, what has she done? Because she has been in the corridors of power. So address this concerns. She made it possible for the youth to come out to say, okay, I want to vote on people therefore to exercise my constitutional rights. It's not like the youth don't want to participate. It's not like the youth are not interested. It's not like the youth are complacent, like she said. But the system has been rigged against them. You understand? Activism is the digital activism, if you ask me, is key. It has been really, really powerful in terms of awareness and mobilization. But then, mobilization is not enough. Like we saw in the NSAS, because bringing out people doesn't really shift policies. People need to get involved. We need to participate, and that is what is happening now. If you look at the 2023 election, the youth constitute well over 30% of the registered voters, which is volume, which is something that we want to participate. But then, this is the system that is against us. We want to participate in an election where we already have the feeling that we are meant to at the end of all these politicians. We want us to participate in an election whereby we feel, okay, the election are not really going to, give us the credible candidate. It's not really going to be transparent. It's not really going to, give us the results we so desire. You understand? So, as it stands now, what I feel Nigerian youth should do is to look beyond the system. Let us look beyond a system that has been rigged against us. Let us get involved. Let us stand up for ourselves like I've been doing now. Let us join political parties. It's not just enough campaigning on social media. It's not just enough venting our anger on social media. Let us join political parties. Let us join the system. Let us join the structure. People united in truth cannot be defeated by a rigged system. That is my honest take.
Right. Okay, thank you so much for that, Fatu. Thank you as well. Now, Maurice, let me come back to you. What would you say are even our pressing challenges, especially as youths in Nigeria, in our quest to defend democracy? What are the major challenges that the youths face when that's for those who are willing to speak up and speak out and represent the opinion of the masses?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. We have plethora of challenges as young people in Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populated black nation in the world, and it's believed that our Africa's population is growing. I imagine what the role Nigeria plays. Secondly, now, as young people, we face a lot of challenges. First of all, now, things are not the way they used to be. Our biggest problem is ageism. When you ask yourself, what is ageism? This older generation, when you want to talk now, they say, hey, you're a small boy, don't say anything, go and sit down one place. You're a small boy, don't say anything, go and sit one place. And they fail to understand that the wisdom of King Solomon cannot be compared to the age of Methuselah. King Solomon was a young wise man. Methuselah was an old wise man. So everyone has his own. And to another thing is that young people, we chase after mundane things, we chase after shadows. I was very, very angry when Nigerian youth went out of the streets. Yes, they can say BDM is the human rights activist, etc. I was so pissed off that Nigerian youth went out of the streets. Nigerian youth went out of the streets to actually go to protest for BDM in Abuja. Why didn't they use challenge that energy to say they want to protest against bad governance? Our youth, we don't even have priority. Things that should concern us will not concern us. My brother, I'm very, very happy that my brother over there in Lagos State is actually an aspirant for councillorship. That is a youth being proactive. I'm very, very happy. You over there at the studio, being a news anchor and our presenter and host, you are a young person. It's exciting. But we young people don't understand. The truth about it is, as young people, I've lost hope in my generation. The daily generation I have hope on is all this on the unborn generation. And these children that are 2, 3, 4 years old. That's what I'm living for. Because my own generation, we have lost focus. Like, say Nigerian youth went out to protest for BDM. And things are increasing every day, seeing security. We don't know how to even put our useful exuberances and energy. And our biggest problem is fire brigade approach or bandwagon approach. Social media has been a blessing and a curse. Because with social media, every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go and post anything and become celebrity. Our problem is that we cannot differentiate between activists and cashivists. So people, they come and become gatekeepers or come and say they are leaders or they are activists. They just want to cash out. They just want the media clout. So it must be, we as young people must understand that we have a future. See, most people are angry with the system, they're angry with the country, I understand. But if we call it, let us call it a spade now. Nigeria has not done anything to us. It's not that we have been unfortunate to have the wrong set of leaders. And these leaders did not fall from the sky. They came from among us. Because we elected them maybe for 4 years. And don't tell me that your votes don't count. When they spend their money to campaign and use to bribe you, and you think your vote does not count. So we see a lot of young people coming out to say, after 2022 election, I will not come out and vote. I am angry. I am this. I'm like, what? Don't you know that after God is government? Please permit me to say, I don't like the man Ahmed Tinubu, but respect he has turned himself into. That man knows how to play politics for us. He just came out from Anambra State, and Soludo is endorsing him for 2027. Nigerian government is called a one-party state, and the youths are so divided. We are divided based on APC, we are divided based on religion, because it's from your party. Do you know there are people that are more loyal to their party than the national flag? I have had discussion with young people that they feel that APC is the best thing to ever happen to Nigeria just because there is APC. I'm like, are you even thinking? So because Steve no come in house today, no mistake, Steve no come in house tomorrow, because he be like say today, oh no consign you. That is our biggest problem. Our people, we are not nonchalant. We don't give. Now see what is happening in the north. The youth in the north are rising now, and they are now being provoked because. But when 2020 ends escape, they didn't want to do anything because now they are brother for power. Now when we say nobody are brother for power, they won't cause mayhem for them. Our problem is that we are not united. We are not. Our biggest problem is lack of unity and lack of patriotism. That is our biggest problem. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity to conscientize Nigerian youth. It's all hands must be on deck, whether you're Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. And I tell people that there are more than 250 ethnic groups. In fact, I come from an ethnic group that you have not heard about. So there's beyond Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. There's beyond Christian, Muslim, traditional worshippers. So we must know that. See, let me give you a perfect example. This is from Africa. This is I've been one of your biggest fans. I'm one of the biggest fans of the program, and because I know you also touch light, and because it refers to Africa. Africa is made up of 55 African nations, and Nigeria is the most popular black nation in the world. We don't even know what it means to be African. We don't even know what it means to be Nigerian. According to Section 24 of the Constitution, the duties of Nigerian citizens, Nigerians owe it to their country to be dedicated. Nigerians owe it to their country to be patriotic, but Nigerians are not patriotic at all. So my brother out there, regardless of your political party, we're in the opposition. I will support you. I see that you're running for councillorship. I will mobilize. Yes, all hands must be on there, because we that have decided to choose this part of opposition, it is not an easy task for us. Because the easiest thing for us is to sell out. The easiest thing for us is to enter APC. If we know say we want job now, all of you know say if you say we want job money, now we go enter APC. But for how long are we going to continue eating our future today?
All right.
For how long, my brother? For how long?
All right, Morris, that's a great place to end it. That's a good question there. And I'm glad that you talked about mobilizing and supporting each other. I want to find out from Fatiu as well what you think. I mean, I was going to ask how you think leaders can mobilize youths to participate in the democratic process, but I think that Morris already touched on mobilization. But I'm curious to know what strategies can be employed to increase youth participation in politics, elections, and civic engagement, because time and time again we've tried to encourage youth participation, and then for the meager number that comes out to try to do something to represent the interests of the masses, they get discouraged. It's either they're slammed with suits that do not even make any legal sense, or something else, or the poverty is weaponized against them. So what strategy do you think that the youths, or that can be mobilized to bring out the youth en masse for more civic engagement, for more political participation? Fatiu.
All right, blessings. Thank you very much. Firstly, I think it has to do with the process, and the system. It needs to be transparent. It needs to inspire confidence. I need to go out there to express my civic duty without fear that I'll be attacked by thugs. We don't give our INEC fat budget only for them to conduct elections where like thugs over there snatching ballot box. Nobody wants to be part of such system. So it is important that the process is credible. It shouldn't be a process whereby 1,000 people will register and 2,000 people will vote. Where are the other 1,000 people coming from? So it needs to be transparent, it needs to be credible, it needs to inspire confidence, there needs to be assurance of the participant safety. And secondly, there should be a total reform of our electoral laws in this country. We also what went down in 2023. It's not something easy. It's not something that we as the up and coming generation want to imbibe. It's not something we want to. It's not a legacy we want to continue with. There needs to be a change, right? And another thing I feel is mitigating against the participation of the youth is what I love to call commercialization of our political process. The process is so commercialized now that if you're not, if your pocket is not fat, you don't stand a chance. Look at what is happening in Lagos currently. The ruling party is selling nomination form for over $1 million, and then you want the youth to participate. Where are they going to get the money without engaging in fraud, without engaging in unholy activities? They are selling the form for chairman for well over $5 million. Where do you expect the youth to get this kind of money? So we need more parties like the African Action Congress that encourages politics that is people-centric, that is based on truth, that is based on justice, that is based on equity, and doesn't favor the elite, doesn't favor the rich, that treats everyone as being equal. And that is where the youth come in. That's where we come in. How many youth is willing to, join a party that is not commercialized? How many of us are willing to support parties like the AAC that wouldn't favor the elite against the common man? So these are issues, these are things we need to consider as Nigerian youth. And also, I think it is important we bring to light the fact that we mobilize on social media. It shouldn't end there. It shouldn't end there, right? We need to try as much as possible. Like my brother Maurice said, we need to look beyond our political divide. We need to look beyond our ethnic divides and come together as one. We shouldn't let the Nigerian political elite divide us. They have this way of coming up with the excuse after every election of blaming the people. And this is evident in one of Fela Nicola Pokute's song, Animal Talk. My people are this, my people are that. That's what Nigerian government do. That's always their excuse for covering up for their failures. So we need to look beyond all those rhetorics and come together as one. Let us come together as one and support each other. Let's be each other's brother's keeper. Let us agitate for a country of our dream. A country whereby I won't be judged by my name. A country whereby I won't be judged by my religious belief. A country whereby I won't be judged by where I'm coming from, or what I am offering. I mean, I sat back one of these days and I looked at the people contesting for councillor under the banner of the opposition parties, and I looked at them. Firstly, you would observe that you see aspirants that have not really left their immediate communities, like they are not really exposed. I mean, their experience is limited to SSE, which is that bad. Majority are jobless and they see politics as an escape from poverty, because that's what the political elites have reduced us to. Right? So these people with limited exposure, limited educational qualification, limited professional qualification are the ones that want to make laws for us at the grassroots level. So tell me, what kind of law are they going to make? What do they understand about environmental sustainability? What do they understand about education at the grassroots level? What do they understand about economy at the grassroots level? But we have youths that are enlightened, youths that have traveled far and wide, youths that are well educated, participating in politics. They can always leverage on their professional networks. I mean, if you look at these youths, this category of people that I mentioned earlier, that are not really well educated, that are not really well enlightened, when there is a need for them to seek advice, when there is a need for them, when they reach a stumbling blocks in decision making, who are the people they reach out to? Their political godfathers, whose sole aim is just to loot the treasury of the local council. But when you have a youth who is well learned, who is well exposed, and who has a credible track record professionally and otherwise, when he hits a stumbling block in policy making, he has people to reach out to. He has knowledgeable people to reach out to. He has people with exposure, people that know what it means to make things work at the grassroots level. He has them to reach out to, and not just political millions, not just the intellectual vegetables that we have in our various communities. So I feel these are the issues, these are things we really need to look at. And from the old trajectory, from what I've been seeing so far, it's just a matter of time. There's a limit to how you push someone. You push the person to the wall, and the person will have no other alternative than to bounce back. Nigerian youths are going to bounce back. We are going to dismantle the criminal political elite structure, the so-called structure. It will be dismantled. This country belongs to us. We are going to take it. Because, I mean, Nigeria, a population of over 220 million with 70% as youth. 70% as youth, and we are still where we are today. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because the political elites have successfully destroyed our educational system. I saw the news around the recently collected JAMB results. I was ashamed. Because the political elites have failed us. They are giving us money to support them every 4 years without focusing on the actual issue. Without focusing on the actual issue. It's an eyesore saying a local government chairman now inaugurating a borehole in this 21st century, and you say you've done a project. Borehole. I see councillors distributing noodles to youth in the community. What message are you passing? They should play their future away. There's no recourse to human capital development. There's no recourse to trending skills like artificial intelligence, robotics, and all. So I feel we need to come together, like my brother Maurice rightly said, and an end to this menace, and make Nigeria a better place for each and one of us. But firstly, there needs to be assurance from the people in power.
All right.
That the process will be seamless. And another important thing we need to take note of is the rule of law. The rule of law is really important. I mean, look at what we have in Lagos today. After a court judgment that Lagos State has 20 local governments, LCDAs are not recognized. LCDAs has no place under the law. And we have an electoral empire, LASEC, coming out and telling us they want to conduct elections in 20 local governments and 37 LCDAs. How do you build? We can't put something on nothing. We want to build legality or illegality to contest election in provinces that are not recognized by law. So if you really want you to participate, if you really want us if you really want the system to work, then you have to follow the rule of law. There needs to be respect for the rule of law. Thank you very much, blessings.
All right, Fatu, thank you so much for that very passionate and very spot-on contribution. It's still Fafano Africa. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, there's still so much that we need to unpack and unravel, especially based on the conversation of ensuring or enabling more youth to participate in policy making and political decisions as well. Stay with us. It's Fafano Africa. We're still talking about Nigerian youth and activism. Now, for the longest time, Nigerian youth have been very vocal, very active online, but we're trying to see how they can translate that from the virtual world into the physical, because until physical action is taking, it doesn't seem as though any much change will be made. We still have our guest, Fatu Basharun Ojora, councillorship aspirant, African Action Congress, and hopefully very soon Maurice Ebam will join us again to continue the conversation. But Fatu, let me come back to you. I would really like to find out what role you think, because we've talked a lot about the role of ageism in Nigerians' political culture, and I think that one of you also mentioned it as well, where it feels as though there's a gap between the older generation and the younger generation. So there's no actual motivation to even want to draw the younger generation closer and show them the ropes and how things are being done. And the younger generation have a heavy sense of distrust for the older generation. So how do we bridge the gap of ageism and allow for the youth to actually come to the spotlight with the help of the older people to show them the way, if that's even a possibility?
Listen, if you ask me, I would say confidently that the old generations have failed us, and in all seriousness, the young generations do not want to associate with the old generations. So what you've said is true, and I totally agree. But be it as it may, this development is an eye-opener for us to consolidate, for us to come together and support a youth, people-centric political party. Because activism, or let me say that this is digital mobilization of the people, won't really win us election. We need to get involved. And by getting involved, we need to be part of political parties. And talking about this ageism, you don't want to be part of these political parties that from the leadership down to the last part of the structure is heavily dominated by these people that has failed us in the past. But now we have a political party that has youth at the end of affairs, that the leadership consists of vibrant, intelligent, and highly focused youth like the AAC. So I would implore youth to join political parties like the AAC as a step in the right direction. Through the AAC, you can see the AAC convener in person of a commercial rep. You can see our state chairman, Obedoni. You can see how intelligent, how vibrant and focused these people are. You can see their agendas. You can see that the main wealth for Nigeria. These are the people that are accessible. These are the people that are close out to the people. These are the people that open themselves up to criticism. Not people that will tell you you're insulting them, like the video we saw earlier. You know, these are people that are ready to take feedbacks and improve on it. And I feel these are the kind of structure we want to associate with. These are the kind of circle we want to belong to as Nigerians, also affects this change that we so much desire. I mean, you can't be a political office holder and you probably people are insulting you. What do you mean they are insulting you? You're a political office holder for crying out loud. You should be open to criticisms. More reasons we need to look deeper, look inward. Let us look at the people that mean well for the country. People that are ready to listen to us, and not just listen to us. They are ready to act. They are ready to act. Since Senator Ireti became the senator representing the FCT, how many town hall has she organized to meet with the youth, to listen to them, to make their pain points? How many bills has she sponsored to make life better for the youth? You can't beat a child and tell the child how to cry. It's not possible. You can't impoverish people. You can't ruin their education system. You can't ruin their healthcare system and tell them how to respond. It's not done. It's not done. So I would implore the Nigerian youth to look beyond the failures of the older generations. It's never too late. And like I was telling some of my comrades, it's not when it's 27 that we start joining political parties. It's not when it's 2037 that we start going to the streets and saying we want a change. The change starts now. The change starts now. If you do not have a PVC, this is the right time for you to get a PVC. If you are not a member of any political party, this is the time for you to join a political party that aligns with your personal goal and objective. This is the time for you to join a political party that reflects the kind of person that you are. Because I always tell people, by your association, I can tell the kind of person you are. It's just like this regular balance that show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So we need to look at political parties that actually reflect our vision, that reflect our mission, team up with them, and we shouldn't be passive. We shouldn't be passive. It is our right. It is our right. It is our fundamental right to vote and to be voted for. Let us take this advantage. And like I already mentioned earlier, we shouldn't go to 2027 before we start. Let us start now. Let us join political parties now. Let us get our PVCs now, and let us start out to be counted. We need to make ourselves relevant now. Contribute constructively. When it's called for, when it's time for what was it called, clarion call, you should be there. It should be there. That's the only one who can affect the change we want. We need to align with these people-friendly structures, align with youth-friendly structures, not structures that will price you out of the system, not structures that have been instituted to rid you out of the system. That's my take, lesson. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fatu. Also, let's talk about accountability for a while. How do you think? I mean, your your intro to the answer of my question was the older generation have failed us, and I think a lot of youths will agree with you in saying that. But how do you think the youths can hold the leaders accountable for their actions and their policies? And this is beyond even coming out to protest. There have been, I wouldn't say speculations, but a lot of people say things like, if you want to hide something from an African man, put it in a book. And now it has gotten worse with the younger generation. People are not willing to learn, to be honest with you. It's like everybody just has basic knowledge of what's going on in politics. So an average youth cannot even stand side by side, someone in governance and discuss constitution. And that way, their rights and obligations are threatened because they don't know what they should do, they don't know what they shouldn't do, they don't know what they can do. So most times when they go out to protest, they're scared. They're, they don't know their rights, so they're afraid of what will come to them. So what are the ways that the youths can actually challenge those in governance, especially with more knowledge of what's happening in the constitution of their country?
All right, thank you very much. I think speaking of accountability, the first thing we need to do as Nigerian youth is to understand the system. I always tell people, for you to criticize someone, you need to understand the office the person is holding. You need to be able to distinguish the executive function from the legislative function before we even talk about the judicial function. So as youth, we need to sit back, look at all the states. Take for instance, the legislators ought to serve as a check and balance for the executives. If the legislators are not doing what they ought to do, which is representing our interest and serving as a check and balance for the executives, we have the constitutional right to recall them. And like I read recently, Nigeria has never recalled any senator. No senator has ever recalled in the history of Nigeria as independence. And I'm not sure we've recorded any member of the House of Rep either. I would say since independence, all our House of Rep members, all our senators, are we seeing they've all been spotless? Are we saying they've all been spot on? Are we saying they've all been doing the right thing? And if we are saying they've been doing the right thing, are the executives, have they been doing the right thing? When the executive feels as the House summoned courage, the House of Assembly, have they ever summoned courage to invite them and do the right thing? And where the House of Assembly feels as the judiciary stepped in to provide a solution to this problem. So if we are being honest with ourselves, power belongs to the people. The power belongs to us. We shouldn't elect all these lawmakers out of party affiliation alone. We shouldn't elect all these lawmakers because they are known to us, because they reside in our community. We need to be sure that will this person represent our interests when it gets there? Will it be able to hold the executive accountable for their actions? Will it serve the constitutional obligation of a check and balance when it gets there? Those are the things we need to look at. And at the grassroots level, I'm surprised that people can't even differentiate, they can't even distinguish between the functions of the local government chairman from that of the councillors. Some people do not even know that these councillors are lawmakers at the grassroots level. I mean, if we are being honest, you don't celebrate a councillor for giving 10 jam forms. Is that his responsibility? Is that what we are electing them to do? Your councillor is giving out jam forms, free jam form, and your local government chairman is embezzling public funds. No one to hold them accountable, and we are celebrating the councillors. And these councillors are the ones that ought to call the local government chairman to order. That the money that was given to you, what did you do with it? And give the feedback to their constituents. That so thing happened. The local government chairman did this, and this was the action we took. This was what we did. And then the constituents will now tell them that, okay, you've done well, but we want to see social things, we want to see social things. So the councillors will go back and effect the same things their constituents the feedback their constituents have given them. Same at the state level. You see our state house of assembly members. They are just rubber stamp. No apology. I'm not sorry to say. They are just rubber stamp. I saw all the shenanigans that happened at Lagos State House of Assembly. It was laughable. It was laughable. You're not holding the state governor to account for his actions. Nobody is looking at what the state governor is doing. That, okay, are you doing the right thing? You inaugurated a project. What was the cost of the project? What was the approval level like? Who is the contractor? Are they doing their oversight functions? So we need to start holding our lawmakers to account. By the time we start recalling lawmakers, they will sit up, and by sitting up, they will start holding the executive to account also. And when the judiciary see that, okay, the lawmakers are weak, the executives are weak, they will have no other option than to follow suit. But when we don't hold these lawmakers to account for their action, or we don't hold them accountable, they won't hold the executives accountable. And even the so-called judiciaries, their appointments are still subjected to the ratification of the lawmakers. When we have a judiciary that is not doing what ought to be done, the lawmakers can sit, deliberate on it, and effect a change. So I feel the sole accountability thing still lies on the laps of the lawmakers. If we as electorate, if we as the citizens are holding these lawmakers accountable for their actions, they will start holding the executives accountable.
Okay,
but if we keep celebrating our House of Assembly members for providing boreholes, if we keep celebrating them for organizing all the illnesses, if we don't let them know what their current responsibilities are, they won't wake up.
All right, Fatu, if you can hear me.
For us to nudge them.
Fatu, can you hear me? Apologies for interrupting you, but very quickly, we're running out of time, but I want you to answer one question very quickly before we go. What would you say are the potential benefits and the potential challenges of youth-led democracy initiatives? We have about 30 seconds to answer this question. The challenges and, of course...
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you come again?
What would you say are the benefits and challenges that youth-led initiatives bring? Like when youth decide to jump on something, to be in a leadership position with something, an initiative, an NGO, policy making, what would you say are the benefits and what would you say are the challenges? Please answer in the next 30 seconds.
All right, I would start with the benefits. Firstly, when you have youth at the end of our field, they bring in fresh ideas. They bring in that level of what's happening around, because they are conversant with the trends. They are the ones walking the streets. They are the ones, they are the ones that are actually aware of what's going on out there. So they'll bring in that fresh ideas. They'll bring in that youthful vigor. There's a common saying that you don't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. We've tried the old generation. It's not working. It's time to give room for the youth. Let them come in with fresh ideas. Let them come in with the youthful vigor. And another thing about youth is we are fearless. We are fearless. When you look at this old generation, they are scared of taking risk. They don't want to die. They will tell you they have kids, they have wives to go back to. They don't want to die. And when you look at all those things, they'll tell you that there's no guts, no glory. When you're not ready to take risk, then there can't be changes. There can't be positive changes. They're not ready to take risk. Right? So that's another benefit of having youth at the ends of our affairs. And another salient thing that I feel youth brings into the picture is our availability. we are always readily available. We don't have too many individuals to tend to. So when you have youth at the ends of affairs, they tend to give you more. It's just like what we have in the corporate sector. When you have a workforce that is highly populated by the youth, it's always more effective. They tend to contribute more, right? They are more effective. They offer more in terms of energy, in terms of understanding, because their brains are still fresh. They can easily assimilate things compared to the age people that are, like what we've seen in certain instances, suffering from dementia and all, right? But when we look at the disadvantages of having youth, I would say to a reasonable extent, some youth can be reckless, and when we talk about recklessness, they might not know when to stop, and this is where a working structure comes in. When you have a structure that works, it will guide this youth and all this excess of not knowing when to stop, right? And another disadvantage that I feel is associated with having youth at the ends of affairs is that they might be largely inexperienced in certain aspects, of handling things, because experience, like they say, you can't buy it. You can't buy it. But I would leverage on the words of my colleague Morris that we can't compare the wisdom of Methuselah, the wisdom of Solomon, right? When you have youth at the end of that phase and you are worried about their inexperience, you should look at the other things that will be bringing to.
All right, thank you so much, Fatu Basharon Ojora, Councillorship Aspirant, African Action Congress. And of course, thanks in absentia to Maurice Ebam, lawyer and human rights advocate in Lagos. I would have loved for us to extend this conversation, but unfortunately, this is the much we can take for today. But thank you so much for bringing your wealth of opinion and, of course, experience to this conversation. And with that, we conclude today's episode of Fafanwa Africa. You can catch up on all missed episodes on our YouTube channel at News Central Television. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV 422, GoTV 23, StarTimes 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Until I come your way again next Friday, my name is Blessings Mosudu. Goodbye.